Good morning.
Good morning, Shabbat
Shabbat
Shalom.
Shalom. It's another wonderful Sabbath day in the middle of the Feast of Tabernacles. So we are not in Irving today. We are actually in Ardmore, Oklahoma. As for those catching this live stream or those that will see this on CDs later. So my message today, I was listening to some sermons a few weeks back, and one word popped out to me, and from I think it was a message that either Curtis or David actually brought, and the word was righteousness. And that's what Yahweh wants of his people. He wants us to be righteous in all of our actions. And righteousness actually is opposite of David's message from yesterday. Because David's message about the rebellious heart is more of an unrighteous person. So an unrighteous is opposite of righteousness. And I actually pulled a definition for a righteous person. A righteous person is of a person or conduct morally right or justifiable, someone who is virtuous. And righteousness, the quality of being morally right or justifiable. So that's what Yahweh wants of us. He wants us to be morally right. He wants us to be justifiable for our actions. So I was going through this, and one of the verses that I came across to identify about how Yahweh wants us to be righteous and so forth is in 2 Peter. 2 Peter chapter 2. And it's verse 21. For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than after they have known it, to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them. So when I was reading through that, I was like, and that kind of ties in with David's message of the rebellious heart, being that if you know the righteousness and then you turn away to rebel against Yahweh, it's better not to have known that righteousness, because it is hard to get back to it. I also have another verse in 1 Peter 3, verse 12. 1 Peter 3, verse 12, for the eyes of Yahweh are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers, but the face of Yahweh is against them that do evil. Yahweh only looks towards the righteousness. He wants everyone to be righteous. He wants the whole world to be righteous. But he knows many are not, because he can see it in your hearts. But he wants all of us to be that way. He wants all of us to maintain that righteousness. And then, of course, we have a whole book on somebody who was righteous. The book of Job. And I was thinking about Job and how to key this one in on speaking about righteousness, and I came up with Job 36. Job 36, starting in verse 1. Job 36, verse 1, Elihu also proceeded and said, Suffer me a little, and I will show thee that I have yet to speak on Eloh's behalf. I will fetch my knowledge from afar, and will ascribe righteousness to my Maker. For truly my words shall not be false. He that is perfect is knowledgeable, and in knowledge is with thee. Behold, Yahweh is mighty, and despiseth not any. He is mighty in strength and wisdom. He preserveth not the life of the wicked, but giveth right to the poor. He withdraweth not his eyes from the righteous, but with kings are they on the throne. Yea, he doth establish them forever, and they are exalted. And if they be bound in fetters, and be holden in cords of affliction, then he showeth them their work, and their transgressions that they have exceeded. He openeth also their ears to discipline, and commandeth that they return from iniquity. If they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity, and their years in pleasures. But if they obey not, they shall perish by the sword, and they shall die without knowledge. But the hypocrites in heart heap up wrath. They cry not when he bindeth them. They die in youth, and their life is among the unclean. He delivereth the poor in his affliction, and openeth their ears in oppression. Even so would he have removed thee out of the strait into a broad place, where there is no straightness, and that which should be set on the table should be full of fatness. But thou hast fulfilled the judgment of the wicked. Judgment and justice take hold on thee. Because there is wrath, beware, lest he take thee away with his stroke. Then a great ransom cannot deliver thee. Will he esteem thy riches? No, not gold, nor all the forces of strength. Desire not the night when people are cut off in their place. Take heed, regard not iniquity, for this hast thou chosen rather than affliction. Behold, Yahweh exalteth by his power, who teacheth like him? Who hath enjoined him his way, or who can say, thou hast wrought iniquity? Remember that thou magnify his work, which men behold. Every man may see it, man may behold it afar off. Behold, Yahweh is great, and we know him not, neither can the number of his years be searched out. For he maketh small the drops of water, they pour down rain according to the vapor thereof. That basically establishes Yahweh's view of being righteous and what we should be doing on a daily basis. Staying away from the wicked ways, staying away from the unrighteous, staying away from the rebellious hearts, keeping our faith in Yahweh and doing his will, following his laws and commands. So I was trying to see how to piece that in with everything else, and I came up with Matthew chapter 5, verse 10, which, if I recall, David actually used 5 verse 17, didn't you, yesterday? So Matthew 5 verse 10, blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. As long as we maintain that righteousness, whether we're persecuted or not, we maintain our righteousness, the kingdom of heaven will be open to us. Because that's what Yahweh wants of us. Yahweh wants us to maintain that righteousness. And I did a concordance search, and righteous actually comes up over 500 times in Scripture. I mean, I could pull up every reference, but we'd be here for days. Just pulling up righteousness or the unrighteousness to see how it keys in together. But another reference I have is James 3, starting in verse 13. Yes.
While you're going there,
Yes, David.
I'll try to speak up, but you might have to repeat me because I'm not that loud.
Okay. What is
When you were in Job, I wanted to say this, and I'll say it while you're turning.
Okay.
And when you mention in Job 36:10, it says, "He openeth also their ears to discipline."
Mm-hmm.
One of the characteristics of righteousness is being able to accept feedback, or Yahweh telling you you're wrong, or someone else saying, "Hey, you might want to look at this." Most of the people that stop their ears and don't want to listen or don't want to accept the fact that they may have something not so accurate is a form of unrighteousness. Because a righteous person is humble enough to say, "I'm wrong, forgive me, Yah," and turn back. That is just like the epitome of being a righteous person, being able to take that feedback. And Yahweh allows that and gives you that characteristic to open your ears.
He gives us the opportunity to take that into our own actions.
Right.
So opening up our ears in Job 36 verse 10, where we open our ears is what David was talking about. Is Yahweh gives us that opportunity, gives us that strength in our righteousness to be able to accept when we are doing something that we shouldn't be doing, and somebody provide us the information. Hey, maybe you need to start considering what you're doing in this aspect, and being able to accept that criticism. Because I worked in the military for 26 years, and now I work for the federal government, for the Department of the Army as a civilian. And you will not believe how many people I have come across in my lifetime. Criticism is one thing many people do not take well. They do not take it well. And if you're not open to it, like David mentioned, you're putting that unrighteousness part out by not being open to that criticism. Thank you, David. So, James chapter 3, verse 13. Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you? Let him show out of a good manner of life his works with meekness and of wisdom. But if ye have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, boast not, and lie not against the truth. This wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish. For where envying and strife is, there is confusion in every evil work. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. And the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
Easy to be entreated.
Yes. Any,
Easy to be entreated.
yes, easy to be entreated. Yahweh wants us to be peaceable. He wants us to be gentle. He wants us to be easy to get along with. That's what he wants of us. And being able to put all of those virtuous aspects together, we can maintain our righteousness in being able to do what is right in Yahweh's eyes. But if you follow in any of those earthly things, you're starting to tread that unrighteous path. And that is not what we want. Let's go to Matthew chapter 6. Yes, Ms. Kerman.
So, in walking and being righteous, is it not righteousness if you shun some of your brethren and only deal with others?
If you're shunning brethren, no, you're not. You're not being
Walking in
righteous.
righteousness.
You're not being righteous. We should be open to all people. Everyone. And yes,
Psalm 119, 165.
Psalm 119, 165. Psalm 119, 65.
No, 165.
165. I didn't hear the one, sorry. 119, 165. Great peace have they which love thy law, and nothing shall cause them to stumble.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Thank you. All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 6, starting in verse 31. Matthew 6, verse 31. Therefore, do not be anxious, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or wherewithal shall we be clothed? For all these things do the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things. But seek ye first his kingdom and righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Therefore do not be anxious for the morrow shall take care of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. Being anxious is not a righteous action. We should never be anxious for things. The days will come as they come. And that's what I wanted to get out of that across is the days happen. The days are going to continue on until Yahweh deems the time to bring his kingdom. Yes, Dave?
I mean, if you're worried about all of the other things around you or what could happen to you, how can you focus on Yahweh? The worry takes over from the focus on
The worry will take over. If you worry about everything around you, like David was saying, it'll take over. And it'll be hard for you to maintain Yahweh's the righteousness that you need towards Yahweh. Thank you, David. Now I want to go to Matthew 10, starting in verse 38. Matthew 10, verse 38. And he that taketh not his stake and followeth after me is not worthy of me. He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it. He that receiveth you receiveth me, and he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me. He that receiveth a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward. And he that receiveth a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward. And whosoever shall give to drink unto one of these little ones a cup of cold water, only in the name of a disciple, verily I say unto you, he shall in no wise lose his reward. Being open. That's what we got to be. We got to be accepting. Accepting the righteousness. And keeping that righteousness in ourselves. Now I want to go to Isaiah 33. And we're going to start with verse 1. Isaiah 33, verse 1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. O Yahweh, be gracious unto us. We have waited for thee. Be thou their arm every morning, our salvation. Also in the time of trouble. At the noise of the tumult, the people fled. At the lifting up of thyself, the nations were scattered. And your spoil shall be gathered like the gathering of the caterpillar, as the running to and fro of locusts shall he run upon them. Yahweh is exalted, for he dwelleth on high. He hath filled Zion with judgment and righteousness. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh is his treasure. Yahweh has established everything that we need. Everything we need to do, he has established it. We just have to maintain our righteousness and follow what he has established for us. I want to skip to Isaiah 33, verse 22. For Yahweh is our judge. Yahweh is our lawgiver. Yahweh is our king. He will save us. That is the only way we are going to get saved, is through Yahweh. Now I want to go to Ezekiel chapter 3. Starting in verse 17. We're only going to read 5 verses here. Ezekiel 3:17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word of my mouth, and give them warning from me. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thy hand. Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity. but thou hast delivered thy soul. Again, when a righteous man doth turn from his righteousness and commit iniquity, and I lay a stumbling block before him, he shall die, because thou hast not given him warning. He shall die in his sin, and his righteousness which he hath done shall not be remembered, but his blood will I require at thine hand. Nevertheless, if thou warn the righteous man that the righteous sin not, and he doth not sin, he shall surely live, because he is warned. Also thou hast delivered thy soul. We need to make sure that all of us are aware that if you are to be righteous, we're not supposed to sin. Yes.
Deuteronomy 6:25.
Deuteronomy 6,
25.
25. Deuteronomy 6:25. And it shall be our righteousness, if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahweh our Elohim, as he hath commanded us. Doing everything that Yahweh has commanded us. That is our goal. That is our righteous act. Thank you. So it just provides us with the information that we need so that we can maintain our righteous paths. That's Yahweh's intention. Yahweh wants us to do that. From here I want to go to Proverbs 2. Proverbs 2, starting in verse 2. So that thou incline thine ear unto wisdom, and apply thine heart to understanding. Yea, if thou criest after knowledge, and liftest up thy voice for understanding, if thou seekest her as silver, and searchest for her as for hidden treasures, then shalt thou understand the fear of Yahweh, and find the knowledge of Elohim. For Yahweh giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. He lay up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. He keepeth the paths of judgment, and preserveth the way of his saints. He shalt thou understand righteousness, and judgment, and equity, yea, every good path. When wisdom entereth into thine heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul. Discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee, to deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh forward things. Yahweh provides us everything we need so that we can walk that righteous path. We just have to be open to it and ask for that understanding. And keeping our ears open so that we can receive what we need, anything additional that we need to continue on our righteous paths. Let's go to Proverbs Chapter 10. starting in verse 2. Treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivereth from death. Yahweh will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish, but he casteth away the substance of the wicked. He becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich. He that gathereth in summer is a wise son, but he that sleepeth in harvest is a son that causeth shame. And I can continue on in Proverbs Chapter 10 on the differences between someone who has a righteous act versus someone who doesn't. And Yahweh focuses on the righteous. That's what all of chapter 10 was focusing on. Focusing on the righteous acts. Doing those righteous acts is what we need to do. Proverbs 29. Starting in verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Whoso loveth wisdom rejoiceth his father, but he that keepeth company with harlots spendeth his substance. The king by judgment established the land, but he that receiveth gifts overthroweth it. A man that flattereth his neighbor spreadeth a net for his feet. In the transgression of an evil man there is a snare, but the righteous doth sing and rejoice. The righteous considereth the cause of the poor, but the wicked regardeth not to know it. And throughout chapter 29 of Proverbs, it continues on in that comparing those righteous acts versus unrighteous considerations. And the unrighteous considerations is more towards that rebellious heart that David mentioned about yesterday. Let's go to Romans chapter 1. Romans 1, starting in verse 16. For I am not ashamed of the good news of the Messiah, for it is the power of Yahweh unto salvation to every one that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek. For therein is the righteousness of Yahweh revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith. For the wrath of Yahweh is revealed from heaven against all wickedness and unrighteousness of men, who hold the truth in unrighteousness. Because that which may be known of Elohim is manifest in them, for Yahweh hath showed it unto them. Yahweh has showed us the path that we need, and our path should be in righteousness. Doing what Yahweh wants of us. Not following the wicked ways, not following the unrighteous, not following the rebellious heart. Keeping our goal in Yahweh's righteousness. Romans 2, starting in verse 1. Therefore thou art inexcusable, O man, whosoever thou art that judgest, for wherein thou judgest another, thou condemnest thyself. For thou that judgest doest the same thing. But we are sure that the judgment of Elohim is according to truth against them which commit such things. And thinkest thou this, O man, that judgest them which do such things, and doest the same, that thou shalt escape judgment of Yahweh? Or despisest thou the riches of his goodness and forbearance and longsuffering, and knowing that the goodness of Yahweh leadeth thee to repentance? But after the hardness and impenitent heart treasurest up unto thyself wrath against the day of wrath and revelation of the righteous judgment of Yahweh, who will render to every man according to his deeds. To them who by patient continuance in well-doing seek for dignity and honor and immorality, everlasting life. But unto them that are contentious and do not obey the truth, but obey unrighteousness, indignation, and wrath, tribulation and anguish upon every soul of man that doeth evil, of the Jew first, and also of the Gentile. But dignity, honor, and peace to every man that worketh good, to the Jew first, and also to the Gentile. For there is no respect of persons with Yahweh. For as many have sinned without law, shall also perish without law. And as many as have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law. Paul was letting us know that Yahweh is there. Yahweh is our judge.
Yes.
We are not. And if you judge someone,
Yes.
you are likely committing those same actions. And you can't judge yourself. And we shouldn't be judging others. Our focus should be in maintaining our righteousness to Yahweh's laws, his commands, doing as Yahweh commands of us, and waiting for Yahweh to judge our actions righteously. I want to go to Psalms chapter 1. Just got a couple more scriptures here in Psalms that I wanted to touch on here. Psalms chapter 1, verse 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the wicked, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful, but is delight in the law of Yahweh. And in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doth shall prosper. The wicked are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore the wicked shall not stand in the judgment of sinners, in the congregation of the righteous. For Yahweh knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked shall perish. Go to Psalms chapter 4, starting in verse 1. Hear me when I call, O Yahweh, of my righteousness. Thou hast enlarged me when I was in distress. Have mercy upon me and hear my prayer. O ye sons of men, how long will ye turn my reverence into shame? How long will ye love vanity and seek after falsehood? But know that Yahweh hath set apart him that is kind for himself. Yahweh will hear when I call unto him. Stand in awe and sin not. Commune with your own heart upon your bed, and be still. Offer the sacrifices of righteousness, and put your trust in Yahweh. I'm going to say that one more time. Psalms 4, verse 5. Offer the sacrifices of righteousness, and put your trust in Yahweh. There be many that say, who will show us any good? Yahweh, lift thou up the light of thy countenance upon us. Thou hast put gladness in my heart more than in the time that their corn and their wine increased. I will both lay me down in peace and sleep, for thou, Yahweh, only makest me dwell in safety. Psalms 5, verse 11 and 12. But let all those that put their trust in thee rejoice. Let them ever shout for joy, because thou defendest them. Let them also that love thy name be joyful in thee. For thou, Yahweh, wilt bless the righteous, in favor will thou compass him as with a shield. In Psalm 7, starting in verse 8. Yahweh shall judge the people. Judge me, O Yahweh, according to my righteousness, and according to mine integrity that is in me. O let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end. But establish the just, for the righteous Elohim trieth the hearts and reins. My defense is in Yahweh, which saveth the upright in heart. Yahweh judgeth the righteous, and Yahweh is angry with the wicked every day. If he turn not, he will sharpen his sword. He hath bent his bow and made it ready. He hath also prepared for him the instruments of death. He ordaineth his arrows against the persecutors. Behold, he travaileth with iniquity, and hath conceived mischief, and brought forth falsehood. He made a pit indignant, and is fallen into the ditch which he made. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own scalp. I will praise Yahweh according to his righteousness, and will sing praise to the name of Yahweh Most High.
Hallelujah.
I'm going to end with saying that Yahweh will be our judge. He will judge our righteousness. And if we are sinners, well, we are sinners. Adam and Eve established all mankind as sinners. But we need to maintain our righteousness in Yahweh, and he will judge us for our actions, whether they be wickedness or righteousness. Yes, Dave?
He has given us our path to righteousness through his laws, through his
Yes.
will. And all we have to do, through Yeshua, and all we have to do is follow. And that gives us, I like how you double mention, Psalms 4:5.
Yes.
Offer the sacrifices of righteousness and not sacrifices of lambs and goats and all that.
Yes.
Our obedience and our righteousness is more valuable to Yahweh than anything.
Yes, and David ended there with our obedience and righteousness is more valuable than anything else we can do. And that's what we will be judged on. Yahweh has given us the path. He has given us all the tools we need to continue on and maintain the righteousness that He wants of us. It is all here for us. It is just our duty to follow that path, to follow Yahweh's will. And when He deems the time to judge us, look favorably upon our righteousness. Is there any questions or comments? No questions, no comments. That is all I have.
Hallelujah.
Thank you.